Mellow bass screaming, rubber burns on black. Engines roaring thunder, ain't no turning back. Beats make a friction, sparks light the night. Track of war sounds, adrenaline takes flight. Metalheads moving, the trucks take the lead. Chasing that cloud through the chaos insane. Diesel hearts pumping, it's a high-speed game. Victory lap, gonna carve out the name. Rebels on my six, but my grip don't waver. Drafting with sharp, every move's got flavor. Brakes don't squeal, they scream in heat. On the asphalt battlefield, where the fears compete. Rivals on my six, but my grit don't waver. Drafting with sharp, every move's got flavor. Brakes don't squeal, they scream in heat. On the asphalt battlefield, where the fears compete. Tires grip tight, flames dance on steel. Spins and skids twist, every moment surreal. Checker flag whispers, a siren's call. Only one metalhead lies above it all. Turbocharged fury on straights we fly. Nitrous things pumping, we touch the sky. Back grandstands buzz, saying our name. Each lap we caught ignites the gay flame. Metalheads moving, the trucks take the lead. Chasing that cloud through the chaos insane. Diesel hearts pumping, it's a high-speed game. Victory lap, gonna carve out the name. Whoa! Mellow bass screaming, rubber burns on black. Engines roaring thunder, ain't no turning back. Beasts make a friction, sparks light the night. Track of war sounds, adrenaline takes flight. Metalheads moving, the trucks take the lead. Chasing that cloud through the chaos insane. Diesel hearts pumping, it's a high-speed game. Victory lap, gonna carve out the name. Rebels on my six, but my grip don't waver. Drafting with sharp, every move's got flavor. Brakes don't squeal, they scream in heat. On the asphalt battlefield, where the fears compete. Rivals on my six, but my grit don't waver. Drafting with sharp, every move's got flavor. Brakes don't squeal, they scream in heat. On the asphalt battlefield, where the fears compete. Tires grip tight, flames dance on steel. Spins and skids twist, every moment surreal. Checker flag whispers, a siren's call. Only one metalhead lies above it all. Turbocharged fury on straights we fly. Nitrous things pumping, we touch the sky. Back grandstands buzz, saying our name. Each lap we caught ignites the gay flame. Metalheads moving, the trucks take the lead. Chasing that cloud through the chaos insane. Diesel hearts pumping, it's a high-speed game. Victory lap, gonna carve out the name. Whoa!
Woo! Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome in as we get ready to rock and roll here this evening as drivers get ready to duke it out here at the beautiful Brickyard. It's Indianapolis Motor Speedway here this evening for the Johnny Johnson Motorsports 200 here at the Brickyard. As the Metalheads Truck Series back in action, these drivers looking to try to find their way up and into victory lane. As Mrs. Holler says, hi everyone, have a great race tonight. Cheering on all these drivers. As K-Dub in the chat as well says, the Brickyard says, love this place. If you haven't been here in real life, it's a must-see. Good luck everyone tonight. Cheering on everyone as well, including himself. And yeah, the Brickyard, a beautiful, beautiful facility. Absolutely amazing track. And man, it brings a a wild, wild crowd, man. An absolutely wild crowd and a wild vibe. The Brickyard, always one of our favorites to watch. Now, I've been there personally myself, so I can't speak on the real life, experience, but just, seeing, other people's first hands and everything else, man. The Brickyard is definitely one of those places that you need to be, you need to go to, and you definitely need to check out at some point in time in your lifetime. And tonight, for these drivers, at least they get a little bit of glimpse of the glory here in the simulator as they head to the glorious Indianapolis Motor Speedway, hoping that they can kiss the virtual bricks and trying to put themselves up and into victory lane here today. Got a few drivers still out there qualifying, one of those being the 318 of Matthew Catania. Catania down across the line, going to complete his first lap here of his qualifying session. Now, I haven't seen him jump up, so I'm not sure if he actually got a lap in there or not. So it may have been null and void, maybe contact with a fence somewhere that may have canceled out his lap. As let's see if Tyler Stevenson can get a lap in here or not as well. Their time is quickly running dry as each and every one of them hoping that they can try to qualify a little bit better, try to qualify on that pole position to help their race along. Now we do have Keith Prince, Ryan Holler, Colton Hardy, and Jesse Calloway who are all yet to qualify. Stevenson's just taking his car back down pit road, and for the 318 of Matthew Catania, he's hoping that this second lap here can really help him get a lap time down. He really wants to be able to try to qualify a little closer to the front of the field as we'll take a look at him down and across the line. We'll see if this one will count, if this one will move him forward, and it does as he lays down the quick time here in qualifying. Thankfully, that second lap, he's able to get a lap to count, and for the 318 of Matthew Catania jumps up as the quickest driver here in qualifying. So Catania jumps to the top of the speed charts. David Traylor Jr., Clinton Woodby, Nick Gardner, Nate Cogdell currently our top 5 with Caleb Kleinert, Merrick Watchorn, Nathan Somerville, Justin Lawson, and Ashley Ellison Jr. are top 10 out there on the racetrack in this qualifying session. Now, Tyler Stevenson, I do believe, is still rolling out here. I'm not sure if he'll get a lap time in or not. I do believe he still has a couple minutes, so he should be able to lay down a couple laps here. We'll have to wait and see if he is able to get these laps in, if he is able to get himself set up and ready here for this feature event this evening, as he'll head down and across the line here. That's going to at least complete one lap. We'll have to wait and see if he can get his second lap in here. It's going to be tight to the finish of this qualifying session. I do believe he should have enough time here. Should be able to get done with about 30 seconds to spare. But for everybody else, now at this point, if you are Keith Prince, if you're Ryan Holler, Colton Hardy, Jesse Calloway, unfortunately, I do believe that they're gonna have to start at the back of the pack, which is never a good thing. Starting deep in the field, it has no benefits. It has no help. It really doesn't really affect you in any good way, starting deeper in the field. So if you're those drivers, it just puts you kind of in a bit of a hole. You gotta try to dig yourself out of, and right at the get-go, to be in that hole is never a fun place to be. Stevenson does get a lap in for the 51 ride down across the line. He'll jump inside our top 10, is now our 9th quickest driver here in qualifying, so he'll get ready to start from that 9th position. So that's a decent break there for him. Obviously getting a good lap in, being able to get up there, that's going to help him out quite a bit. Now, I'm not sure if there's any penalties. We'll have to wait and see if there's anyone that has to come down pit side here at the start of this race. I don't really see a penalties channel in the Discord as I look through it. I'm not 100% sure if anyone's going to have to serve any early race penalties or not. I don't see anything, but for the Brickyard here this evening, this is, I do believe, what, our 5th race of the season? 6th race of the season? 5th race of the actual season, but our 6th race now with the Clash included. So definitely getting down to the nitty-gritty here. They got a few more months, though. They got a lot of racing left to be had before our playoffs get started. But I know for a lot of these drivers, even though it's early in the season still, the bonus points, all the points, they're going to work. They're going to work to trying to get those points, trying to earn those extra little bit to help them out, to put them into a better position, and knowing that you're going to get an opportunity to earn some extra points here at the end of our stage, and I do believe it is going to be 20 laps here. So the completion of lap number 20 will be the end of our one and only stage here this evening. So for a lot of these drivers that are deeper in the field, if they want those extra points, if they want to put themselves a little closer to the front of the field, trying to earn those extra bonus points here, the first stage is going to be a must-have, and you're going to need to try to race your way up there and hope that you can find yourself inside the top 5, top 10 before 20 laps completed here this evening, as we get them all stacked up, racked up, and ready to go to battle as the one-rail 318 machine of Matthew Catania will start in the pole position. To his outside, the QH Designs, Johnny Johnson Motorsports, Sonic Graphic Designs number 54 of David Traylor Jr. will start there in second, with Clinton Woodby in his beautiful winning bid 92 ride there in third. To his outside, the Napa Auto Parts number 27, it is Nick Gardner who will start there in that fourth position. Starting in position number 5 in the 0-0. It's another one of those QH Designs, Sonic Graphic Designs, Johnny Johnson Motorsports rides. It's Nate Congdell who will start there in 5th. To his outside in that Turbo HP, that 196. It's Caleb Kleinert. Kleinert will start there in that 6th position. Starting in 7th, the 91 ride, that is Merrick Watchorn. To his outside, the 28 is the Stack Up 28 machine of Nathan Somerville. Starting in position number 9, in the wheel-in number 51, that is Tyler Stevenson. And rounding out our top 10 in the beautiful number 20, it is the Masked Owl Technologies in number 20 of Justin Lawson. Lawson will start there in the 10th position. Starting in 11th in the 133, that is Ashley Ellison Jr. To his outside will be the 61 of Wyatt Mickelson. Starting in the 13th position will be, I believe it's the 46 ride of Skylar Berry. To his outside will be the 42 of Kevin Winker. Winker Nation will start there in about the 14th spot. You'll have the 01 of Rooster running right there on his back bumper, with the 6 of Rusty Modesty down to his inside, starting in the 15th spot. Starting in the 17th position, I do believe it's going to be Paul Durkee, Rick LePage back there, Bruce Bernard's back deeper in the field as well. And we do see that beautiful Menards number 88 ride, Ryan Haller, he's back there, starting in about the 20th position. John Herbert, Colton Hardy in that beautiful number 97. The Steelers ride here this evening for Colton, starting back there deeper in the field with the 4 ride of Jesse Calloway there as well. Keith Prince, unfortunately not out on the racetrack here to start this feature event. So Prince didn't get a lap time in qualifying and has not jumped out here for this A main as of yet. But for Keith Prince, he'll be hopefully getting out here as we get going. As we take that green flag, it'll send him back a little bit more, but hopefully he can join the fun here this evening as we get ready to rock and roll, as we get ready to go to battle. Kayla Lawson says, he says, good luck, Lawson, cheering on Mr. Justin here this evening. And Amanda Joy says, hashtag Winker Nation, cheering on K-Dub here this evening. As we get ready down and out of corner number 4, back down the front straightaway, waiting for that green flag to fly. 23 drivers will see the green flag in the air as we end all the anticipation with our feature presentation, as we are quickly green flag racing here from Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Is quickly David Traylor and Matthew Catania door to door down through corner 1, nice and easy down and through corner number 2 here at the Brickyard. They will drag race down the back straightaway, and you see the 92 ride Clinton Woodby gets a decent run, doesn't stick, doesn't try to bump draft or push any of those other drivers. He jumps to the inside groove, as you do see the 54 of David Traylor Jr. He got up into the outside fence, kind of scrubbed off a ton of speed down into corner number 3. That not only cost him the race lead, but now falling back into the 4th position as Clinton Woodby and Matthew Catania, they're going to roll door to door, all the way back down and across the line here. It's a drag race to see who leads lap number 1, and I do believe it is Clinton Woodby who will lead the first lap of the day here from the Brickyard. As Clinton Woodby, David Traylor Jr., and Matthew Catania duking it out here in this one, putting on an absolute amazing show for us here early in this race. So Clinton Woodby and David Traylor Jr. now going to duke it out here as David battling back. Looks like he's got a ton of speed in this 54, but they're going to make contact down the back straightaway. My gosh, these guys are duking it, man. They are not backing down. They are not giving it an inch out there on the racetrack. You saw how tight it was. 3 wide on the opening lap, down into 3 where David got into the outside fence, and then again tight down into 3 between the 92 and that 54. And it looks like for David Traylor Jr., he is able to work himself out in front. So lap number 2 being led by that QH Designs, CCRE Sports Duck Donuts, Johnny Johnson Motorsports number 54 ride of David Traylor Jr. Woodby will slide back into second as Nick Gardner now into third. Matthew Catania falls into about the 4th position here early in this race. Not where we expected to see our pole sitter here. We thought maybe he'd fight a little bit more for that race lead, but maybe just a little bit more of a strategy call here for that 318 machine, knowing that fuel tires could be something that you'll want to have later in the run. So we'll have to keep an eye on all these competitors and, you know, where they're stacked up, where they're running, where they're moving here out on the racetrack, and see whether or not some fresh tires, you know, later in the run are going to help a little bit better than some of these older tires. But this time around, man, pretty much everybody running almost fastest lap times of their race, so they continue to get quicker and quicker lap after lap. In the last 2 laps around, David Traylor has made the quickest lap of the race down for the last 2 laps. So he's found something here. Looked really good on that first lap until, you know, right here on the back straightaway and scrubbing that outside fence, killed a ton of his speed down into 3. But since then, he's just been a man on a mission. But look at Clinton Woodby sticking right there with him, not letting him run away with it. Nick Garner's back there in 3rd, and Catania staying right there in position number 4. So here we go, Merrick Watchorn and Caleb Kleiner. Looks like Merrick's going to work himself back around that paper cuts 196 ride as Caleb will slide back into 6th. Nate Cogdell early on, he's down a couple spots here and now falls into that 7th position as Nathan Somerville, Tyler Stevenson there in 9th, and Kevin Winker. Right now, Winker, the hard charger out there on the speedway, up 4 spots early on. And for the 42 ride, that Muhlenberger Custom Homes Winker Nation machine sits there in that 10th position. He's continuing to try to drive his way up to the front of the field, hoping to see if he can get another good run, another solid drive here for that 42 ride of Kevin Winker. Now for Winker, we've seen a lot of strategy being played out of this 42 ride. We've seen him really trying to stretch fuel out, trying to make it to stage breaks and everything else. And, you know, it's going to be interesting to see if he just kind of races a little bit harder here and just try to, you know, use pure power and talent to try to get him these good finishes and good wins, and not maybe go with a little bit of luck and a little bit of that strategy that he's tried over the last little while. It really hasn't worked out too well for him in a lot of these races, trying to get that fuel strategy to work into his favor. But we'll have to wait and see if that's kind of what he's rolling with here. Maybe just trying to battle with these guys, kind of sit on the same strategy as they do, maybe change a little bit here and there, but nothing too drastic, and just trying to keep himself fast and up here at the front of the pack here as David Traylor Jr. trying to hang on to the race lead. Here comes the 92, Clinton Woodby back down low. Woodby looking for the race lead once again, and that's brought the 27 of Nick Gardner, Catania, and Merrick Watchorn all right into the battle as they are right there ready to pounce. Oh, baby, it is looking racy here this evening. These guys, oh, man, they've been putting on a good show for us, man. We're only 6 laps into this race, and it has not disappointed. This has been a fun one already, as you see. The 92 able to clear the 54 ride. Trailer falls back into second. Will he be able to stick to the back bumper of that 92 machine? As now here comes Matthew Catania. He will work down to the inside here on Nick Gardner. Gardner's going to have to battle door to door with him. Down down the back straightaway, but you do see that 91 American Watchorn right there in the mix. And as they continue to battle door to door and tight together here, it's Brendan Caleb Kleiner, Cogdell, Nathan Somerville, Kevin Winker, and that 51 of Tyler Stevenson right back into the mix here. Now our top 10, they got a bit of a gap now between themselves and some of these other drivers. It's about 2 seconds here from Tyler Stevenson in that 10th position all the way back to the AutoZone 01 ride of Rooster Rodden. You see Justin Lawson, Skylar Berry, Wyatt Mickelson, the 6 rides right in there as well. Rusty Modesty, the 31 of Paul Van Durkee. He's right there in the mix of it as well. So for a lot of these drivers, kind of a little bit split up here into a couple different packs, a couple different groups. But man, the race action, the door-to-door battles, man, these guys are putting on an absolute show for us here this evening as the Allstate Peterbilt Foundation for Pops, number 31 of Durkee, trying to work his way closer and closer to the front of the field here. Unfortunately, off the racetrack right there will allow Colton Hardy to get on and around him here. Hardy in a beautiful Steel City, that beautiful Pittsburgh Steelers paint scheme ride, man. Looking fresh out there on the racetrack. I really like it. It's a really neat paint scheme. Obviously, I'm a fan of everything Pennsylvania, just the opposite side of Pennsylvania. Go Birds, go Birds, go Flyers, go 76ers. Go Phillies. Let's go Philly. Not Philadelphia, not Pittsburgh, Let's go Philadelphia. But we love it anyways. Beautiful paint scheme, man, and looking good out there, and looking really, really good, man. Big win for them right now. My Eagles are playing. Unfortunately, I can't watch it because we're doing the broadcast. But go Birds, and big win yesterday there for the Steelers, beat the Ravens, man, and it was pretty cool watching. Aaron Rodgers, as beat up as he's been the last few weeks, and still running in a touchdown and having some fun, throwing some big bombs there to DK Metcalf. Heck of a run there for Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers, and I do believe that puts them first in their division now. So that's pretty cool to see. As Clinton Woodby, though, out in front. He's looking to run away with it here in this one. He is sitting strong in position number 1 as David Traylor Jr. sits there in second. Now we see Catania and Merrick Watchorn sitting there in 3rd and 4th. Nick Gardner has slipped back into that 5th position. So for Gardner, falling back a couple spots, but able to hang on to at least the top 5 early on here in this one is Caleb Kleiner. Kevin Winker there in 7th. Winker keeps on working his way a little closer to the front of the field here after getting around Tyler Stevenson. He's made quick work here. Nathan Somerville and Nate Cogdell to jump into that 7th spot. So Kingdom on the move to the front here as we're going to complete 10 laps. So halfway through our first stage of the day. Halfway in, halfway to go here. Completion of lap number 20. Will be the end of our stage, and for these drivers, that's extra bonus points, and that's an opportunity to try to, maybe flip the script, maybe help yourself out, whether it be pit strategy-wise or just trying to get some extra tires, save an extra see really how far these trucks are able to go on a tank of fuel. Knowing that these guys only have 70% fuel, can they make it to the end of lap number 20? Can they make it to this stage break? Or is everyone going to have to make a pit stop prior to that lap 20 marker? And if they can make it 20 laps on a tank of fuel, what does that bring up? What does that strategy kind of entail for the rest of this race? They have 3 sets of tires in the pits. So if you pit at lap 20, you throw a set on right there. You make it to lap 40, you throw another set on, you make it to lap 60, you throw your final set on, you're kind of set right there, unless if somebody tries to pull the trigger on a little bit of strategy, maybe expecting some late race caution flags, maybe you try to, maybe save a set here off this initial start, try to keep yourself, just rolling, not burning up those tires too much, try to make that first set in the last 40 laps, and then give yourself from fresh tires, try to battle your way back into it, hope for a late race caution flag where most of the field is used up their set of tires, and now you've got an extra set back there. Could be the winning difference late in this race. Is nice and easy down into corner number 4. Our race leader, Clinton Woodby, he's out in front. He's feeling A-okay. Is back down and across the line. He'll complete lap number 12. So 8 laps left to go here in this stage. 8 more laps for the 92 ride of Clinton Woodby to try to put himself up and into victory lane, and for stage win, not victory lane. But for these drivers, the tire fall off has been quite a bit here. I'm not sure if they're saving fuel or if it's just the tires have been getting weaker and weaker for them. But as we look back here throughout the field for a lot of these drivers, they are running about a second and a half slower than what they were at the start of this race. So they have drastically dropped off the pace, and tires are going to mean that much. Then maybe trying to save and have that extra set for late in this race. That could be the winning move. That could be the winning strategy. They're trying to have that extra set in their back pocket for later on in the evening, as we never saw Keith Prince jump out onto the racetrack. We never saw Jesse Calloway. He didn't run any more than, I do believe, the first 2 laps of this race. So heartbreaker there for Jesse Calloway. As you see Bruce Bernard, Paul Durkee, Frank LePage back there. They're at the rear of the field here. They're hoping to find a little bit more, hoping that maybe some of their strategy will pay off for them. You do see Skylar Barry and the 88 right there of Ryan Haller. They're back in the 18th and 19th position. Haller's been a little bit all over the place there through that first and second corner on the racetrack. That'll bring that 46 right to his back bumper, but out in front for Clinton Woodby. Woodby, feeling pretty good, man. He's looked strong, but we do see Matthew Catania back up and into second here. He's worked his way around David Traylor Jr. And for Catania, he's one of those drivers that likes to play it smart. He likes to get these stage wins, so maybe just kind of hanging back there out of the early get-go. Gave up the race lead, didn't really put up a fight for it. Allowed the 54 and the 92 to kind of duke it out there for that race lead, and now it seems like this truck maybe starting to come a little bit more alive, or maybe for the 54, the 92, maybe their truck's starting to, feel that tire heat, maybe starting to fall back a little bit. And for Catania, he may have him right where he wants him, and that is just a little bit better tire and late in the run. Maybe working through the battle. We did see Ashley Ellison Jr. in that 133 ride come down pit road. Heartbreaker here for Ashley Ellison Jr. Not sure if this is just a scheduled pit stop or if this is unscheduled, but we do see him down pit side getting work done and getting some 4 French tires on that Armor All 133 machine. So Ashley Ellison Jr. down pit road here on lap number 14. Very interesting calls. Our race leaders do not come down pit side as of yet. They're 15 laps in. Do they make it another 5? Do they have to make a green flag pit stop? If they do, how is it going to affect this race? Will we see other drivers run into issues? As of right now, for Ashley Ellison Jr., he does fall as the first driver 1 lap down out there on the racetrack. And now with fresh set of tires here, he's going to be faster than these guys around him. But being faster, you're also burning up potentially your tires here over the next 5 laps and putting yourself into an even more difficult position as the restart here after the stage break. You're going to have 5 lap older tires and potentially not have any track position. So I think for the 133 ride of Ashley Ellison Jr., just really got to hope that everyone else has to come down pit road. We'll find out here because the laps are clicking down. 4 laps left to go here in this stage. And you do see the 318 down low, able to make the move, jumps down to the inside of the 92. And I think that really got that 318 right. It continue a little bent out of shape there. I'm not sure if he wanted to pull the trigger as of yet for the 92, maybe pulling over, letting him go by. I'm not sure what was going on there, but it really seemed like Woodby checked up heading into corner number 1 for the 318. Had to be quick on his toes there to avoid, driving into him, turning him around, or putting either of them potentially into that corner 1 fence. And luckily enough, both drivers able to keep pointing in the right direction, but you can definitely see maybe the 92 ride starting to struggle here. Later in this run, starting to see a lot more movement, starting to slide around a little bit. It's definitely looking like this thing's gotten a little bit more off the rails for him. As now here we go. We do see Kevin Winker, K-Dub drifting out of corner number 4, getting checked up, heading down pit road. Now you just do not want to mistake down pit side. You cannot have a black flag. You cannot give yourself a penalty down pit side. So you're going to hit that pit road speed and just stick with it. And for Kevin Winker, obviously making his way down pit road. He's hoping that he can get a good pit stop in here. Hope that he can keep himself on the lead lap. We'll have to wait and see because it's going to be tight. I don't know if he'll stay on the lead lap, but if he can kind of play this strategy out, we'll have to see if it maybe helps him out a little bit, if it puts him into a good spot at the stage break, or if everyone else has to come down pit road, maybe pitting earlier, maybe give him an extra little bit of a boost, maybe leapfrog a few drivers and put himself into a position to maybe try to steal this stage win away. But as of right now, our race leader still not coming down pit side. Not a whole lot of other drivers heading down pit road, but we do see Kevin Winker. He's done his pit stop. He's rolling back out here. So for Winker, should be able to keep himself on the lead lap. But our race leaders, they're down through corner number 1 and into corner number 2 here with only 2 laps left to go. 2 laps left here in this stage, and obviously a couple different pit strategies here. Winker's going to try to stay in front of these guys. He just came down pit side, maybe trying to flip the stage here, trying to see if he can get everyone else to not come down pit road till after the stage break. And for Ashley Ellison Jr., unfortunately for Ashley, he's a lap down, so I think for his strategy was kind of the same as Kevin Winker's, but unfortunately for the 133, just a little too far back there, didn't time things out right, and unfortunately he went a lap down, so he'll have to look for the wave around and try to get back on the lead lap here. The lucky dog at the stage break is here we go, down across the line. They complete lap number 19, and that means that we only have 1 lap left to go here in this stage. So 1 lap left to duke it out. You can see Winker's in front of him here. Now Winker does have better tires. He could probably be running a whole lot faster, but for his strategy to work out and for him to really gain a lot of track position, he needs to not burn these tires up. He needs to kind of take it easy. He needs to kind of ride here for this lap. Make sure that our race leaders do not get around him where he gets a, he goes a lap down, because you take the wave around, you lose all your track position. You'll be back on the lead lap, but you will have to start in behind the rest of the field. So all that track position that he had would be virtually gone. There would be no benefit for him. But if he can keep himself out in front of these guys, then he could stay on the lead lap here and keep himself in a good position. There we go, down across the line. Stage is going to end, and for the 92 ride of Clinton Woodby, Woodby is going to win the first stage of the day. So Woodby out in front gets the stage win. Matthew Catania comes home in second. David Traylor Jr. there in third. Merrick Watt, Jordan, Caleb Kleinert are top 5 here in the stage, with Nick Gardner, Tyler Stevenson, Nate Cogdell, Rooster Rodden, and Colton Hardy rounding out our top 10 here in this stage. But it's all down to maybe some of the strategy calls here. Obviously for K-Dub, strategy works out for him. So what's going to happen is everyone else is going to come down pit road here, and this is exactly what Winker wants to see. Everyone will come down pit side, and for that 42 truck, he's going to stay out. He doesn't have to come down pit side. He's already made his pit stop. So for the 42 of Kevin Winker, as everyone else makes their pit stops, he will roll in front of them, and he will gain all those positions. He should restart as our race leader. So that is a big break right there for Kevin Winker. That leapfrogs him in front of a ton of drivers. Now obviously it puts him into a very curious position, because he is going to have a couple laps more on those fresh tires, but he was rolling way off the pace, way off the pace, trying to make sure that he saved those tires as much as possible to try to keep them at least even going in to the restart here. So we'll have to wait and see how that strategy plays out for the 42 ride, as he'll leapfrog the field and will be our race leader. Now for Ashley Ellison Jr., I think Ashley was trying to do that exact same thing. I think for the 133 was hoping for that same outcome. Unfortunately had fallen too far back, so when Ashley made his pit stop, unfortunately for that Armor All number 133 ride, ended up putting him a lap down. And that puts him into a difficult position, because you don't really earn any track position. Now he got lucky that no one else had fallen a lap down here, so he will get the lucky dog. He will get the free pass back onto the lead lap. So that will get him at least back into the fight, but he's going to have, you know, that he came down really early, too. So he's going to have, you know, 6 laps on his set of tires, 6 laps on those tires, and he's going to have to restart from virtually rear of the field, which is going to be tough to battle back from. That's going to really set him back here in this race as we'll get ready to see everybody come down pit road. Pit road should be open this time, and we're going to see all these drivers make that hard left-hand turn and head down pit road. So everyone's coming down pit side. You do see the 133 of Ashley Ellison Jr. He's going to stay out, but he will get the lucky dog. The wave around back on the lead lap, and there's Kevin Winker. K-Dub does not need to pit. He had made that pit stop prior to the stage break, and that will move the 42 to the front of the field. So for that beautiful Chevy Silverado, the Muhlenberger Custom Homes at number 42, it's Kevin Winker, K-Dub, who now leads this race. For Ashley Ellison Jr., he'll get lined up at the tail end of the field, and we'll have to try to battle back and hope to gain a bunch of track position here. It's going to be tough sledding back there now with a little bit older tires and not good track position. It's going to be tough for him to battle back into this one, but everyone else down pit side. Here comes Catania, David Traylor Jr., Clinton Woodby comes out in what would be the 3rd position here, 3rd out of pit road with Nick Gardner and Caleb Kleiner there. Here comes Tyler Stevenson, Nick Cogdell, Rooster Rodden, and Justin Lawson, who will now round out our top 10 as Kevin Winker mixing things up here and making things a little exciting. Definitely going to make things interesting here late in this race, and trying to make these strategy calls for that 42 ride. That's going to split things up nicely, and we do see the 3 ride rejoining the field here. All right, good to see. So Keith Prince in the Sherwin-Williams number 3 machine here, finally joining this race. He missed the first 22 laps of this race. Finally back out there, though. The Johnny Johnson Motorsports Sherwin-Williams number 3 ride out there onto the racetrack. At least jumping in here to have a little bit of fun, even though he's probably not going to be anywhere close to contention to win this race. It's going to be fun to see if, you know, he just has some fun out there. Battles with these guys, get some extra experience out there on the racetrack here in that number 3 machine, as we'll get them stacked up, we'll get them racked up and ready to go back to Green Flag Racing in just a quick moment here, as we'll get a quick word in here from some of our amazing sponsors, including our series sponsor, Johnny Johnson Motorsports. Alrighty, our first Duck Donuts caution flag coming to a close here. We'll get all these drivers ready to rumble, ready to go back to Green Flag Racing now. Making bad things worse here for the number 133 ride of Ashley Ellison Jr. Looks like Ashley had earned a black flag too fast down pit side. After getting the wave around back on the lead lap for the 133, will have to probably serve a pass-through penalty during the green flag action. So for the 133, definitely going to set him back even farther here in this one. But for now, our restart will be the 42 of Winker, the 318 of Catania. Our front row is the pink truck back down pit side. And here at the Brickyard, it's Kevin Winker, our race leader. He's the first to fire down through the Geico go restart zone, hoping for a great run and a quick drive as he jumps down to the inside here, blocking that 318 of Matthew Catania down into corner number 1 as the Winker Nation machine out in front leading the way. Here comes Clinton would-be David Trailer in that 318 of Catania trying to hunt down the 42 ride. Obviously, using some pit strategy has put himself out in front now with that clean air. Still fairly fresh tires with the rest of this field. How is Winker going to stack up here? How long can he hold on to it? How long can he stay in front of them? Obviously now going to have to probably try to save a little bit of extra fuel. He's going to have about 5 laps less of fuel than the rest of this field. So for the 42, even if he was saving during that caution flag, you know, that's still going to set him back a little bit when it comes to the fuel mileage aspect of this feature event. But obviously, you can see these guys rolling down these straightaways, man. They're trying to break a little bit of the draft here. They're trying to keep him back there at bay, but I'm not sure if anything's going to keep Catania away, as here he comes, looking down to the inside of that 42. Winker will give him room, hoping for a big run down and out of corner number 2, hoping that one of these other drivers may go with him, may help push him down the back straightaway, as they'll be door-to-door here for them top 2 spots, and then right behind them door-to-door as well between David Trailer Jr. and Clinton Woodby. So the strategy for Kevin Winker obviously got him up here to battle with these guys, but the fastest 3 here so far in this race going to work, trying to get around him, trying to make easy work of that 42, but Winker is going to find a hole. Oh, God, that was tight down low. Oh, man, he was able to just squeeze in between himself, and I do believe that was the 54 of the 92 ride, but there we go. Caution flag will come out. So the caution flag will fly. Cautions breeding cautions. Catania was able to steal that race lead away from Kevin Winker, but our second caution flag of the day, or second Dunkin' Donuts caution flag, will be displayed. I do believe we're going to see the 87 John Herbert running into some issues here. John Herbert and Justin Lawson tied up in this one. Oh, no. All right, so here they are. They're tight off of corner number 3 here, and unfortunately, they get tied together. Man, this is a big hit right here for the 87 ride, but you're going to watch the 87 maybe come up a little bit farther than expected here. Justin really has nowhere to go. They slam together up into the outside fence. They bounce off each other again there as well, so pretty solid contact and damage, not only for that 87, but for Justin Lawson as well. It's really going to hurt their chances here this evening. Let's take another look at it, see if we can get another angle at this contact as Justin Lawson's just trying to keep himself in the fight. You see them just tight together off of corner number 3 and a little contact there. And then obviously for the 87, just kind of up the racetrack. Lawson's nowhere else to go here, and there they go, around they go, and unfortunately heavy contact and damage for both these drivers, and oh man, Ryan Haller just able to avoid it right there. Woo, man, Haller was super close to getting heavy contact right there. This could have spun his trunk around, could have put him into that outside fence as well, but luckily enough, just able to avoid it. Look how close it is. Oh, maybe a little bit of fender scrubber right there for the Menards Toyota, but man, Haller able to keep pointing in the right direction and keeps it rolling here. But now here we go. A lot of drivers coming down pit side, a lot of drivers electing to stay out here. So this is going to really mix up the field. Now for Winker, obviously he's coming down pit side. He wants to try to get some fuel into this thing, not trying to get tires. I don't think any of these drivers are going to put tires on at this point. But if they can put fuel into their rides, make sure that they got that extra little bit, may really help them out, hit their numbers, and make it a little farther in this race where they can, you know, maybe use some more of that strategy to their advantage. And obviously it's worth it to them to give up that track position to come down pit road. And for Catania, he comes out still in front of Kevin Winker, but they're going to get ready to restart back in about the 9th position. So 8 drivers did not come down pit side, including Clinton Woodby, David Trailer Jr., the 196 of Caleb Kleinert, the 00 of Nate Cogdell, Colton Hardy there not coming down pit side, as well as the 61 of Wyatt Mickelson, the 91 of Merrick Watchorn, and the 31 of Paul, the old man turkey, also not making their pit stops here. So that's really going to make things up even more here this evening. And now a couple fast cats. You look at Catania back in 9th. Winker's back there with them in the 10th position. You look at Tyler Stevenson, Modesty, Nathan Somerville. A lot of drivers that are going to be trying to race their way up to the front. Maybe have that extra little bit of fuel, having a little extra chip on their shoulders. And I do believe Lawson's still down pit side, getting his truck repaired. Keith Prince back down pit road here. And I do believe Ashley Ellison Jr. And to serve that penalty, Ashley did come down pit road. I'm not sure if the 133 is in position or eligible here for the waiver round again. The free pass to get back on a lead lap. But I do believe Ashley Ellison Jr. is currently a lap down. And I do believe coming down pit side will not be eligible for the lucky dog here this time. So that's a tough break there for the 133, and Ashley Ellison Jr. will stay a lap down out there on the racetrack. We'll have to hope for another quick caution flag, but we'll take this chance to come down pit road. You see Nick Gardner also coming back down pit lane as well. So it looks like Nick is really just trying to make sure they get this thing absolutely topped up here this evening. Does not want to waste any fuel at all. He wants to make sure that he gets this thing absolutely filled to the brim here, making sure that even if it is half a gallon, that it is absolutely topped up. So fuel could really become an issue here later in this race. Could really open up a little bit of a lane for some drivers to play some different strategies to try to run a little different groove here. Maybe stretch that fuel out, make one less pit stop late in this race, or see what they can do here, Chan. This is going to be interesting. This is going to be fun because here we go. Going to get ready. They go back to green flag racing. They'll complete 29 laps. Now, there's still a lot of racing left to go here. Still a lot of racing, a lot of laps, a lot of time for these drivers to try and navigate their way to the front of the field here. Now, be nice to get some good green flag laps in here again, see how some of these strategies play out, especially with, not a lot of caution flags to really bust up some of that pitch strategy. Could really make things a little bit more interesting late in this race. But for our second Duck Donuts, we'll get them all ready to roll. We'll get them all ready to battle. And for the two drivers that got tied up and tore up there, we do see Justin Lawson back into the action. John Herbert's back out there as well. So for both drivers, able to get their repairs, able to get their trucks fixed up and back into the battle here. So they'll look to hopefully rebound and try to salvage the day for as much as they can. As there we go, Pace Truck will make that hard left-hand turn back down pit road, and here we go back to green flag racing here at the Brickyard. As for Clinton Woodby, David Traylor Jr., they will see that green flag fly. Clinton Woodby with a great launch right there in that Goldberg 92 machine as he's looking to try to keep David Traylor and Caleb Kleiner back there at base. You see the outside lane working perfectly there for that 54 ride. Traylor able to quickly clear that 196 of Caleb Kleiner, but Kleiner trying to stick right there with them as it's a dogfight back here behind them. Look out as all these drivers, they're going to be making some crazy moves, especially when you look back here at Matthew Catania. What is Catania trying to do here on this restart? Where does he try to put this truck? Is he going to try to be a little bit more aggressive, try to race his way back up here to the front of the field? He's definitely making a few passes as he's already around that 61 of Wyatt Mickelson and the 31 of Paul Durkee here just on that opening restart. Now he's already working to the inside here of Merrick Watchorn, rolling to the inside of that 97 of Colton Hardy, and he's looking for a couple more spots down into quarter number one. Is there 2-3 wide into that first quarter? Sometimes that does not work out. A lot of times even 2 wide does not work out there through quarter number one. Luckily enough, everyone able to keep themselves pointed in the right direction for the 318 of Catania. He'll get settled in here behind that Pittsburgh Steelers number 97 truck of Colton Hardy. You see Wanker's back there as well in that 10th position. He's trying to rebound, trying to hopefully race his way back up towards the front of this field and back into the battle for maybe the race lead or the race win, as we do see David Traylor Jr. has navigated his way around Clinton Woodby. So Woodby slides back into second here as they are completed 30 laps. This time by the start finish line, they'll complete lap number 31. So 31 laps completed here this evening. 31 laps into the record books, and that means we still got a lot of racing left to go. 49 laps left to duke it out here of this 80-lap feature event. So for these cats, that's a long race, man. That's a long race. It's a lot of laps. It's a lot of time to try and work yourself out in front, to try to work yourself up to the point here and put yourself into a golden position late in this race, whether it be through fuel strategy, tire strategy, or maybe just try to put yourself there maybe in a good position late in this race just by maybe having that extra set of tires, man. I don't know if anyone took that gamble and didn't throw tires on during the stage break or anything else. It looked like everyone threw on tires, so no one taking the early gamble. I thought we'd see maybe a couple drivers. There were a couple deeper in the field that maybe jumped on top of that idea. Maybe Paul Durkee, one of those drivers here, he's been falling back again. Obviously, he took that last pit stop, did not come down pit road, but stayed out, gained a little track position. But here he is falling back now into about the 15th position. He's hanging on strong there in that all-state ride. But for all these other drivers, you know, who's willing to take that risk? Who's willing to try to hopefully see a late race caution flag? Maybe not even getting that late race yellow. We've seen a lot of these races go clean and green, and already having one caution flag for incident out there on the racetrack after our first stage. Obviously, you know, we've seen it here and there, but I think this is a big enough racetrack, and these drivers are talented enough that we may see this go clean and green to the checkered flag this evening. And without another yellow flag, you know, if you do take that gamble, you do take that risk of trying to have an extra set of tires back behind pit wall, it could definitely not work out for you if it stays clean and green. It would definitely hurt your chances of trying to win this race. But if you did get that late race yellow and caught everyone else with, you know, 10, 15 lap older tires, it could really propel you into a good finish here this evening. But so far, everyone's kind of on the same strategy. They've all kind of took the same amount of tires. Now, we do have a few drivers that, you know, came back down pit road and put in some extra fuel there during that break. But really, for, you know, Catania, Stevenson, they're still sitting 7th and 8th on the racetrack. You look at Winkers, they're in 10th. So for Wyatt Mickelson and some of these other drivers, including everyone inside our top 6, they haven't really fallen back. So maybe track position may be a little bit more key in this race than what they were hoping for. And obviously for these drivers that didn't come back down pit side during that second caution flag, maybe that little bit of fuel, that 5-lap difference in fuel, could be a difference maker on whether or not they're going to, you know, win this race or have to make an additional pit stop or anything else that could affect their race this evening. It's Shauna in the chat. Shauna says, let's go Winker. Cheering on Winker Nation here this evening as K-Dub already leading some laps here today, already playing a little bit of that crazy strategy. And for that Winker Nation, Muehlberger Custom Homes number 42 ride rolls there in that 10th position as of right now. So for K-Dub, we'll have to wait and see if there's anything left up his sleeve here, if he can make some more you know, strategy calls or make something different happen to try to put himself into a better position later in this race. But for right now, for the 42, since they were in that 10th spot, has Wyatt Mickelson right there in front of him. As out in front, it's all David Traylor Jr. David continues to lead the way with Clinton Woodby and Caleb Kleiner right there on his back bumper. Merrick Washorn rolls there in that 4th position, and Nate Cogdell sitting in position number 5. Catania has raced his way around the Pittsburgh Steelers and Toyota of Mr. Colton Hardy. So Hardy does fall back into 7th, and for Matthew Catania back up into that 6th position. He's trying to reel in this 0-0 ride of Nate Cogdell. So for Catania, the driver highest out there on the racetrack that has that extra bit of fuel, trying to race his way back inside the top 5. Tires are pretty even, but that fuel could definitely be a difference maker. If other drivers are trying to save fuel, if they gotta roll into the throttle to try to give themselves to their number that they're looking for here for late in this race, for those late race caution flags or anything else, if they gotta roll into the throttle, if they gotta save a little bit of fuel to hit their numbers and their pit strategy, strategy here later on. That's really going to work into being the favor of Catania and those cats that came down pit side and got that 5 laps extra fuel, because they may not have to save at all. They may be able to hit their numbers with ease and be able to just be on the throttle and really pick these guys off. Later in the run, as they start to save, they're on the throttle. They could just drive right on back around them and put themselves into a good position, as David Traylor Jr. right now in the best position and looking absolutely stout here. This is the biggest lead we've seen anyone have here this evening. It's been roughly nose to tail here. Really not much of a gap between our race leader and the drivers back behind him, but now we're starting to see David Traylor Jr. pull away. He's got a 1.1 second lead between himself and Clinton Woodby. Woodby sitting there in second, just watching that 54 gets smaller and smaller out of his front windshield here, as he does have Caleb Kleinert still right there with them. Merrick Watchorn's back there in fourth, and here comes Catania, who's now back inside the top 5. Trying to rebound, trying to get himself back up there after that pitch strategy, as he has worked his way around Nate Cogdell. Cogdell falls into 6th. He's got Colton Hardy and Tyler Stevenson there in that 6th, 7th, and 8th position right behind him. But here comes Wyatt Mickelson and Kevin Winker into the battle. They're trying to hunt these guys down, as Rusty Modesty up into 11th. Nathan Somerville there in 12th. Rooster Rodden in that 13th position, as we see Skylar Berry, Paul Durkee, Nick Gardner, John Herbert, Ryan Haller, Justin Lawson, and Rick LePage rounding out our top 20 out there on the racetrack, as LePage rolls there in that 20th position. We do see Bruce Bernard. Look out, Bruce, in that JMV Lawn Care number 17 ride. My gosh, got real squirrely down in out of corner number 1 right there. Luckily enough, able to hang on to it and keep on battling, but my gosh, that was a little too close for comfort, as the Armor All 133 of Ashley Ellison Jr. now for Ashley, still the first driver 1 lap down out on the racetrack here, obviously in position as the first and currently only driver 1 lap down, open to see another caution flag. If he could catch a yellow, could get him back on the lead lap with the lucky dog and get him back into the action here this evening. But for right now, for that 133 ride, kind of just stuck back here, riding in about that 22nd position, just hoping for a break here to get himself back into the action and not be that caution flag himself. Now, Keith Prince also multiple laps down here. Unfortunately for Keith, missed the first about 20, 21 laps of this race before joining it. So unfortunately for Keith Prince, started 20 laps down, obviously not going to be able to get that amount of laps back. But for Keith Prince, he's hoping that he can just learn a little bit of something, maybe get a little bit of extra practice here, have a little bit of fun with the boys in that Sherwin-Williams Johnny Johnson Motorsports number 3 right here, throughout the end of this race. As we do see Tower Operator in the chat as well. How are you, Tower Operator, coming in, showing the love with the hashtag Winker Nation as well. Hashtag Winker Nation in the chat for all the Winker Nation fans in the stands. We do see Jesse Calloway, who's been down pit road in that Liquid Death ride since lap number 2, and unfortunately has not rolled back out onto the racetrack. But for Ashley Ellison Jr., Ashley's just got to hope that a quick caution flag will kind of get him back into the race with a lucky dog. Has to really hope that he does not see other drivers like Bruce Bernard or Rick LePage potentially lose a lap out there on the racetrack. You see the 17 just out of corner number 2. Our race leaders are about to head out of corner number 4, so he's still got a lot of time here. Really, he's only about about 20 seconds behind our race leader, so less than a little over, half the track difference here, so he does have a lot of time. I think if we go another 10, maybe 20 laps or so, maybe then there could be other drivers really at risk of falling a lap down here to our race leaders, especially with green flag pit stops on the horizon here. If we do end up into those green flag pit stops, that could really mix things up even more for these drivers. Obviously, you never want to get caught speeding down pit road with those black flag penalties. The speeders down pit side are always a risk here, and if you get caught speeding, you get that 30-second hold. More than likely, you're probably going to lose a lap here, and if you do lose a lap, that could definitely take Ashley Ellison Jr. out of that free pass position and put him into a really, really tough spot. As here we go. Looks like our first driver to make the call to head down pit road to make this green flag pit stop is the 0-0. The Johnny Johnson Motorsports QH Designs Duck Donuts at Toyota of Nate Cogdell heads down pit road. So Nate's going to make the call first here to head down pit road on lap number 42. Now this is 20 laps after he was down pit road. So for Nate Cogdell, what is this going to look like? What is this pit strategy going to see? Where is he going to come out? And how is this going to play out for that 0-0 ride as other drivers maybe trying to save a little bit more, maybe trying to have a little bit better tire for a little later in the run. But obviously he wanted to try to get to this lap 20, lap 42 marker somewhere in that 20 lap run to a tank of fuel. He's able to get there, comes down pit road and makes that quick call to do it here and does not wait around for a couple extra laps. But for a lot of our other drivers, looks like they're going to stretch it out. Even the cats that were last down pit road on lap 22, they're going to try to go a little bit farther, knowing that having that extra little bit of fuel in their back pocket, maybe late race, or just having that extra little bit here, potentially to make a different tire call or trying to keep yourself a little bit more even with some of these drivers that were down pit side on lap 27 could make a huge difference in this race. But as David Traylor Jr. continues to lead the way, he's got 1.6 seconds between himself and Clinton Woodby. So he's got a pretty sizable gap here between first and second out there on the racetrack, and it's about the same gap all the way back here to our third place driver, Caleb Kleinert, who's now about 1.3, 1.2 seconds back of our race leader. Catania's right there with them as we do see Merrick Watchorn. Watchorn heads down pit road here on lap 44. So it looks like he's going to be, our second tanker to come back down pit side. All right, so things are getting a little chippy. Things are going to get a little interesting here. A lot of drivers starting to play a little bit of a different strategy here. And that could really mix things up late in this race. Everyone on different strategies, everyone trying to figure different ways to come down pit road. Now coming down as a single car, that may be a blessing because it kind of takes a little pressure off your back bumper where you're not going to make mistakes. You're not going to put yourself into a tough spot and potentially give yourself a penalty. But if you come down as a big group, you got a lot of cars with you, maybe you end up making that mistake or get too fast into pit road trying to just get as much as you can. As you do see Clinton Woodby trying to close that gap here at least a little bit on that number 54 ride. He did close the gap a little bit more aggressive getting down pit road. Now luckily enough for Clinton, did not get a black flag, but our top two make their way down pit road. And for a lot of these drivers that stayed out, did not come down pit road after pitting on lap 22, they did not pit during that second caution flag there at lap 27. So obviously with about that 4 or 5 lap less fuel, they got to make the earlier pit stops here compared to the rest of the field, so that does forfeit the race lead over to Caleb Kleinert. Now Kleinert also was last down pit side on lap 22 here. Him and Paul Durkee, the only two that stayed out during that second caution flag that have not yet come back down pit road. But it looks like for the 196 that Caleb Kleinert can't wait any longer, has to pull the trigger, has to work his way down pit side, and you can see a little tire lockup right there, a little sideways. Luckily enough, I don't see any black flags yet for that number 196. You do see Paul Durkee having to come down pit road right there as well. So that's going to be all the drivers that stayed out during that second caution flag. We saw 8 of them stay out. All 8 of them have been back down pit road here around lap 42 to lap 45, lap 46 here for Paul Durkee and Caleb Kleinert. So obviously a little bit different strategy there for those drivers trying to stretch that fuel out a little bit farther. But for Matthew Catania, Tyler Stevenson, Kevin Winker, they now sit 1, 2, and 3 out there on the speedway. A 1:33-second lead for Matthew Catania between himself and his teammate Tyler Stevenson as the CCR Esports team roll there first and second on the racetrack. Kevin Winker, K-Dub, he's third right now in this strategy, so he's kind of sitting right in front of Rusty Modesty, that 0-1 ride of Rooster Rodden. So for a couple of these drivers, some tight racing still back here deeper in the field, but now it's all about that strategy calls. what do you do? When do you come down pit road? And how does this potentially, work out for you? How do you use that extra little bit of pit strategy to your advantage? Maybe it's just having better tires later in the run compared to earlier in the run. How does this play out into your favor to really help you potentially wind up in victory lane? They got a little clean track now, but they do have older tires, so they are going to be running a lot slower lap times than David Traylor Jr. David came down with the race lead for this number 54 ride. He has that same virtual gap between himself and Clinton Woodby. Woodby's also got Nate Cogdell. You can see the difference there as Cogdell came down about 3 laps earlier than these guys. He was able to gain a lot of track time and kind of reel into them and get in front of this 92 Clinton Woodby. That's going to be virtually the same thing that's going to happen here with David Traylor Jr. The rest of these guys is it's going to leapfrog them a lot farther in front of the other drivers that are still rolling out here on the racetrack. And as they continue to keep on rolling laps, they continue to keep on staying out there, is the farther and farther away that they're going to fall from these drivers. Now they will have fresher tires, they will have better tires as they get back out on the racetrack, but is it going to help them enough that they can close that gap and make a pass on them, especially with, the second pit stop, kind of just on the horizon? I think even now with everyone having to come down pit road, it's going to make things very, very interesting as here comes Matthew Catania. Here comes Tyler Stevenson, Kevin Winker. A lot of these drivers coming back down pit side. Now we do see Modesty, Nick Gardner, Nathan Somerville. Looks like Lawson's going to stay out for at least another lap as well. But for Catania, Tyler Stevenson, Kevin Winker, Rooster Rodden, Skylar Berry, John Herbert, Ryan Haller, they all make their way down pit side here on lap number 49. Here comes Bruce Bernard as well. So now you come down pit road, you're going to have about, 4 or 5 lap better tires than the drivers that will be in front of you. But they're going to be back down pit road here in a quick hurry. Another 15 laps, they'll be back down pit side. It'll be really interesting to see because they'll have maybe a 5, maybe a 10 lap, 15 lap run at the end to kind of regain all the track position that they may lose. So it's going to be really interesting to see where they come out in comparison to those drivers that made the earlier pit stops and how quickly they can catch them, because if it stays clean and green and it plays out that way, it could really mix up this race. We do see Nick Garner's going to stay up for at least another lap. We do see Rusty Modesty, Nathan Somerville, Justin Lawson, they do come down pit road here, so they are making their pit stops. And right here out of corner number 4, you see that 54 of David Traylor Jr. David has about a 3-second lead here between himself and Clinton Woodby. Now they put it on the same lap. I think Woodby got a little hung up there trying to make the pass on Nate. Things kind of cycle through when we look at where David Traylor is running on the racetrack and where Matthew Catania is. He's got 4 lap better tires for Matthew Catania, but he's 12 seconds behind David Traylor Jr. 12 seconds behind what is going to be our race leader as we finally see Nick Gardner come down pit road. So for Catania, kind of leading the charge on this second, fuel strategy. This one could really, I don't know if it's going to play into their favor. I think if they get a timely caution flag, it could. If they got a caution flag maybe a lap or 2 before they came down pit side, had a couple laps better tires than these drivers and the track position, then that would maybe work into their favor. But I'm not seeing the picture right now, Chad. I'm not seeing the picture right now. Is they're going to make it probably about another 20 laps or so, maybe 22 laps to a tank of fuel. But a lot of drivers are going to probably try to take those tires somewhere around, maybe lap 65-ish, somewhere in that area, maybe lap 62. If they want to come down a little bit earlier, make sure they get the full use of those fresh tires. But as of right now, for David Traylor Jr. and the drivers that stayed out there during that second caution flag, they're kind of in the catbird seat, I think. As of right now, I think they're in the best spot possible as David Traylor Jr., Clinton Woodby, Merrick Watchorn are top 3. See Cogdell's back there in 4th. Caleb Kleinert sits in position number 5 here on the racetrack. And then we do see Wyatt Mickelson, Colton Hardy's there in 7th, and then you see that one rail, number 318 of Matthew Catania, back here in that 8th position. Now, last time around, Catania laid down the quickest lap of this race. Fastest lap out of anybody here this evening, so he's really pushing this race truck. He is really flying out there, but obviously he's trying to get everything he can out of his fresh tires as quickly as possible, trying to close this gap, trying to put himself back into this fight. He's been able to close the gap quite a bit here over those few laps since coming back out onto the racetrack, but he's still about 10 seconds back of David Traylor Jr., and for how hard he's pushing, his tires are going to start to burn off just as much here. He's going to start to fall back, and it's really going to balance out at a certain point, and where that point may be really, really tough for him to try to get himself back into this race. He may be able to get back up inside the top 5, but to be able to put himself into a position to be within striking distance of David Traylor Jr., Clinton Woodby, even Merrick Watchorn potentially may be a bit of a stretch here, late in this race. But we do see Caleb Kleinert and the 0-0 of Cogdell there battling here now for that 4th position. You see that the 318 starting to reel into the 97 of Colton Hardy and that 61 of Wyatt Mickelson. And the passes here late in this race, they're going to get tougher and tougher as well. Drivers aren't just going to move over and be cordial and let you go by them here. They may throw blocks. They may try to battle with you, slow you down, or to try to get them a little extra speed if they can get a little extra draft or bump off you. But you do see the 97 moves up out of the way there, allows the 318 ride to get by. So nice move there as the Pittsburgh Steelers machine allows the faster truck to get around him here. Doesn't want to put himself in jeopardy or want to get ran over. We'll have to wait and see what the 61 does here. Obviously run a little bit lower here. Gonna kind of slow him down a little bit, especially on corner exit here. And every time that this happens, it's just making the strategy tougher and tougher for that 318 ride. But you're able to see that little bit fresher tire. We're able to really pull hard left down and out of corner number 2, and he'll steal another spot here. So Catania back up into 6. He continues to inch closer back towards the front, but at 4 or 5 lap better tires, we'll have to wait and see how that plays out here, especially still about 8.5 second gap between himself and our race leader, David Traylor Jr. And you do see another driver losing a lap here. Bruce Bernard does fall a lap down, so for Bruce, he loses a lap, and that will take Ashley Ellison Jr. into that free pass position. So that's a tough break there for the 133, as if there is a caution flag right now, Bruce Bernard is in line to earn the lucky dog and get back on the lead lap. And there's a few more drivers that could be at risk of losing a lap here, right? Or maybe another caution flag. We'll have to keep a close eye on that one. But out in front, with almost a 3-second lead between himself and our second place driver, it is David Traylor Jr. David continues to lead the way as 25 laps left to go. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we're going to jump into a quick Peacemaker Gaming Crank It Up. So we want you guys to crank up that volume and cheer on your favorite drivers here this evening as we crank it up here on Peacemaker Gaming. Alrighty, a beautiful crank it up session right there. Give it up for these drivers as they crank it up, give us the sights and sounds around the beautiful Brickyard here this evening. Indianapolis Motor Speedway's the caution flag does come back out as we were just into the swing of our race leaders making their final pit stops of the day. And this is really going to mix things up here a little bit. This is really going to make things interesting with this caution flag. Now, I'm not sure what happened here. Looks like maybe Wyatt Mickelson running into issues. So he does have the 42 and Kevin Winker trying to get around him, and it looks like they're off corner number 2. They're just going to run out of room here. So it looks like, I don't know, looks like, oh, okay, 61 may have gotten up a little too high here. So for the 61 ride, gets up into the outside fence. Winker's rolling down low underneath of him. Now the 61 loses a ton of speed momentum, so Winker catches up to him a little quicker than what he's expecting, and the 61 coming down off the fence comes down across the nose there of Kevin Winker. Winker nowhere to go, but luckily enough doesn't look like any major damage or anything else to the 42, but for the 61 does make some pretty solid contact there with that inside safer barrier, so does end up with some pretty solid contact there in that 61 machine. It's a tough fight there for Wyatt Mickelson, but this is really going to make things interesting, as I do believe we just saw our race leader David Traylor Jr. come down pit road, literally pitted the lap that kind of happened. He was exiting the pits as the wreck happened. I believe he had gotten his pit stop done, so for David Traylor Jr., they're going to put him into kind of the catbird seat here, but it does kind of flip Clinton Woodby and a few of these other drivers that had already made their pit stops just in front of him. We'll have to wait and see where this all lines up, as some drivers were already down pit road. Now they're going to have older tires here compared to the drivers that are either right around them or right behind them or somewhere near them, and this is really going to mix things up quite a bit here. So we'll get them all stacked up, we'll get them all racked up and ready to go back to green flag racing in just a few more moments. Now for a bunch of these drivers, obviously this is going to be fairly beneficial for them. I'm not sure if it's really going to help them out a ton. I think for Catania or any of these other drivers that were on the other strategy, it closes the gap here. I think the gap was going to be pretty massive here for David Traylor Jr., Clinton Woodby, that I think they were going to maybe get away with this one scot-free. I think their strategy was going to play out and pay off for them. I'm not sure if Catania would have been able to catch them there in those closing laps and potentially steal, you know, a second or a race win away from them. But now, as things kind of get lined back up and drivers get back into order, this is going to really make things very interesting here. So Clinton Woodby, I believe, will be scored as our race leader. Colton Hardy in the 97 will now be in second, with Nate Congdale in third. David Traylor Jr. will get lined up in the 4th position here for this restart. So for the 54 ride, going from a 5-second race lead down pit road, now has that 318 of Matthew Catania right on his back bumper. Now lucky break is for the 54 is that he doesn't have any green flag laps on his tires, so he should be pretty much on the same page as Catania, Stevenson, Caleb Kleiner, and then the rest of the drivers back here behind them, as they'll all be on the same tire strategy kind of. But for Nate Congdale, he was down pit road on lap 61. He had a couple laps of green flag racing on his tire, same with Clinton Woodby. And for Colton Hardy, he was down pit road on lap number 59. So he has about 3-4 laps of green flag racing on his tire. So that will set him back a little bit here late in this race. But now with 66 laps left to go, drivers are going to get stacked up, everyone's going to get lined up here, and that's going to make things very interesting. Now we do see a couple of drivers getting wave arounds right here, including one of them being that 133 of Ashley Ellison Jr., the 31 of Paul the Old Man Durkee. I do believe Bruce Bernard also getting the wave around here. I do believe Bruce may have earned the lucky dog for Paul Durkee and Ashley Ellison. They're getting the wave around back a lap here, and I do believe for Ashley, it's still going to put this 133 ride. I believe he is still a lap down, but now he will be in the lucky dog position. But for that number 133 ride, he was last down pit road on lap number 50. he's going to have to probably make a pit stop here over the next handful of laps. So if we don't see a quick caution flag to kind of get him the wave around, Lucky Dog back on the lead lap in the first place and him not having to make a green flag pit stop, then it may work out for him. But it's going to be tough sledding here. But we could see an abundance of caution flags here off this restart. As Anna Alessandro in the chat says, come on, Ryan Holler says hi to Cher in the chat as she says, Peacemaker, what's up? What's up, Anna? How are you, Anna? Mrs. Alessandro in the chat coming in, showing the love here in this one. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, you came here for a show. Well, here you go, as this could be a 13-lap shootout here to the checkered flag biting. We see a couple more Duck Donuts caution flags here this evening. We'll have to wait and see how this restart pans out, where these drivers kind of get lined up. We do see Clinton Woodby. He's electing to use the outside lane. I do believe he is the race leader coming to the green flag here. David Trailer Jr. is going to be behind him, so he's going to hope to get a good launch on that inside groove. Catania, you're probably going to see an aggressive move at this 318 down to the inside here, trying to work his way to the inside of that 0-0 and maybe even the 97 down into corner number 1 as here we go. Green flag is in the air as Clinton Woodby gets the good launch, gets a good drive. The 54 right there with him, hoping to clear the 97. He does clear him, so that does keep the 318 of Catania back there a little bit farther at bay here. It does allow Tyler Stevenson, his teammate, to roll around his outside, and Stevenson moves up into 4 for Catania, still back here in about that 6th position, but now going to work on the 0-0. He knows that he needs to get everything he can here on this restart if he wants an opportunity to try to win this race. He needs to find that speed, but look out! There goes the 0-1! 0-1 Arusa Rodden goes for a ride. Comes to a stop down here in corner number 3. This thing went airborne. Luckily enough, I don't think it went over, as there was some contact. Let's take another look at it as, oh man, looks like maybe Kevin Winker getting a piece of him right here. They're drag racing down the back straightaway. Winker's trying to fall in line here, and I think he's trying to get to the outside, and there's just not a gap there, and unfortunately not clear of the 0-1, and they make contact, and Winker and the 0-1 get together here. The 0-1 kind of coming down a little bit. Winker's coming up a little bit here, and they just get tied together. Winker's in the throttle, and it just spins this 0-1 machine around, and look at this thing take off. It goes airborne, and luckily enough, it does not go over. Comes back down onto all 4 tires, and doesn't go up through the grass or anything else. And as he slides back up into the corner 3 area, luckily enough, he doesn't get into the outside fence or inside fence, and doesn't get ran over by any of these other drivers. So that was a great break there for Rooster Ron, and at least to the minimum that the truck didn't not get destroyed, but that did probably flex spot these tires and being a glass fresh set. That's really going to set him back. And now, if you're Ashley Ellison Jr., we talked about how the 133 took that wave around, was either going to need a pit stop or potentially going to really need a caution flag to get back into this race. Now, I do believe for the 133 of Ashley Ellison Jr. should be the first car 1 lap down, should be in line here for that lucky dog to get back onto the lead lap. And for the 133, could be back on the lead lap, could be coming down pit road to get their final set of tires here for Ashley Ellison Jr. That could be a massive break, as everyone else now has a couple laps here at least under caution and a few laps under green here on their fresh tires. So for the 133 of Ashley Ellison Jr., as much as he's going to be backtrack position, could be in a really good spot here late in this race. So I do believe he should get the wave around right here. Back on the lead lap, will make a pit stop, will fall to the rear of the field again, but already back here, so no real worries about that one. This could put Ashley right back into the mix of things here this evening. I don't know if he'll have enough time or a good enough car to race his way potentially into top 5 or into a win or anything here this evening, but being able to salvage at least maybe a solid top 10 or top 15 day may be a win nonetheless for that 133. You know, coming home top 15 is a whole lot better than coming home 22nd, and there you go. He's going to get to the outside. They're going to give him that wave around in for the Armor All. 133 133 of Ashley Olsen Jr. back on the lead lap. It took a little while after, making that earlier pit stop, trying to play some strategy. Didn't work out for him. Getting the lucky dog at our stage break. Looked like things were going to work out. Looked like things were going to be good for him. And then all of a sudden, got a black flag down pit side. Now, he just cannot do that again here. He got on that first wave around that he got on the lead lap. He got that black flag coming down pit road. He can just not do that again. If he does do it again, I think it's going to take him out of this race. But we do see him staying out here. Doesn't come down pit road right there. Okay, this is an interesting call. So I'm not sure if he just expecting to maybe see another caution flag, maybe hoping to see another couple laps under green here before coming down pit road and putting tires on, maybe wanting these drivers to burn their equipment up a little bit more than what they have, where it will work into his advantage. So this is definitely another bold strategy. And if you're a driver that's been a lap down or multiple laps down for a majority of this day for the 133, what's the harm in risking it here? So that's going to be fun to see, how this is going to play out in this one as Mrs. Holler and Mrs. Alessandro in the chat showing the love here this evening. We love having the girls in there and showing the love and support for one another, man. We love it. We absolutely love it. Cher and Anna in the chat showing the love here this evening. If you guys are excited, if you guys are pumped up to watch these drivers continue to duke it out here, it's going to be an even shorter run to the checkered flag here this evening, and the intensity level is going to continue to rise. The tightness, the restarts, everything is going to be very, very interesting, and we may see a few more yellow flags before we're done and out of this one, as Clinton would be going to get ready for a big restart here. David Trailer will be dancing outside, so you'll be hoping to try to stay door to door with them down into corner number 1, but it's going to be tough. It's going to be tight. We're going to look at, Tyler Stevenson. You look at Matthew Catania back there. A lot of these drivers, man, are showing a lot of speed. They've been really, really quick here today, and it's going to be interesting because no one's going to back down. No one's going to give an inch. You're going to have to take everything you can get here on these restarts and hope that you don't, one, cause a wreck or be a wreck out there on the closing laps and put yourself into a difficult position here or take yourself out of potentially a solid run on the racetrack, as we'll get ready to go back to green flag racing. It will be 9 laps left to go as the Duck Donut caution flags flying here late in this race, and that's going to make it very, very fun. As Miss Holler says, "Oh, love your Peacemaker too. Love you, Peacemaker too. Always positive. Always positive. Hey, you got to stay positive. You got to stay positive. You got to be happy. You can't have that stress in your life, that just kind of sits right in your stomach. You can build up a lot of bad stuff. You got to be happy and stress-free and just living life to the fullest. And every time I hit that go live button and get to talk to you guys in the comments section, man, that's always the best and brightest parts of my days. Definitely never a stressful or negative time to be here on the live streams and being able to hang out with you guys. As here we go, getting ready to see what could be potentially our final restart of the day. I got a sneaky suspicion it probably won't be. I think we're going to see at least maybe another 1 or 2 restarts here late in this race, because these drivers, they are ready to get after it. As there's the green flag. Great launch for the 92 with the 54 sticking right there with them. Looking to the outside as David Trailer Jr. find the run that he's been looking for to try to work his way back to the point, with Stevenson and Catania right there with them, and everyone else door to door knocking at their door. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough, and it's going to be interesting to see who is going to be able to survive this late in the race as they're sneaking down the back straightaway, looking for a run, looking for a drive, and maybe an open lane to jump up and maybe steal a couple spots. We do see Catania slide back a little bit. Catania may have gotten a piece of the outside fence down the back straightaway, and for the 318 machine, Catania's going to fall back now into about the 7th, 8th position. And for Matthew Catania, that is a heartbreaker. This is a tough spot to be now as these drivers work themselves around him. A driver that was in line and in contention for maybe picking up this race win, now deeper in the field and kind of out of it here. For Clinton Woodby, though, we saw him early on, able to win that first stage of the day. Looked really, really strong. He's kind of in that same boat. It's time to go. It's no time to sit here and wait for all these other drivers to make moves, to make time, to be able to work themselves to the front. You just gotta take what you can get. You don't want to hang back. You're not saving tire. You're not saving fuel. It is go time. It is unlike Donkey Kong, as Bubba's creation says Patel first to back up a little from the pace car when pacing laugh out loud. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I guess it's all to their discretion. I mean, it's all to their discretion if they want to hang out right there with the pace car. I think in the rules it says they got to keep pace with the pace car. So, yeah, I'm assuming that's probably why he was right there with them. I don't think you're allowed to really hang back or kind of mitigate the restart that much sort of deal. I think you got to keep that, caution flag pace right to the restart zone. So try not to break the rules or anything else there. So for these drivers, they're trying to do everything right by the D, but it's going to be very interesting to see our top three starting to break away here. Up a second gap between themselves and our fourth place driver, Colton Hardy, and the rest of the field here. So it really looks like it's down to these three, and last time around, for all three of them, it was their quickest lap of the race, but now look out, contact between Tyler Stevenson and David Traylor Jr. So the wheelin' Chevrolet of Tyler Stevenson gets into second here. A little bit of a bump and run down through corner number 3, and it moves Stevenson into second as David Traylor falls back into third, but Clinton Woodby out in front. He wanted to see that battle maybe last a little bit longer, maybe a little bit more contact. It did open up a few truck length lead for him off the front bumper of this 51, but with Clinton Woodby having a few extra laps of green flag racing on his tires, he may still be at a disadvantage to that 51 truck, to the 54 David Traylor as well. He may be a sitting duck here in the closing laps. We'll have to wait and see as the rest of the field trying to reel them in. Here comes Colton Hardy. Here comes Congdell, the 91 Brian Americ Watchorn there in 6. 196 of Caleb Kleiner rolls there in 7. Matthew Catania back in 8. Rusty Modesty and Nick Gardner rounding out our top 10 here on the Speedway. Skylar Berry and his Detroit Lions, number 46 ride there in 11th. Ryan Haller in position number 12 with Wyatt Mickelson, Kevin Winker there in 14th. Then we see John Herbert, Rooster on in. Paul Durkee there in 17th. Ashley Ellison Jr. in 18th. Then we see Justin Lawson, Nathan Somerville, Rick LePage, Bruce Bernard, and Keith Prince rounding out our field as Jesse Calloway done and out of this race since lap number 2. Unfortunately, took it down pit side, but as the laps continue to close down, oh, baby, this is going to get interesting. Already we've seen that contact between the 51 and the 54. Obviously, they're not scared to make some contact and rub and scrub a little bit, but there is a caution flag. Right late race caution. Oh, baby, that means another restart, and it looks like we may be heading to NASCAR overtime here this evening, ladies and gentlemen, as the yellow flag will come out. At least one more restart here for these drivers, and it looks like potentially the 318 of Matthew Catania, one of our early race leaders, our pole sitter here in this feature event, tied up in it. Let's take a look and see what happens. Looks like Cogdell may have gotten tied up in it as well. So I think this starts right here on corner exit. You take a look at that red and black truck of Nate Cogdell in the 91 ride of Merrick Watchorn. Looks like they're going to be tight together here down through corner number 3. Merrick's on the bottom, kind of washes up right there into that left front of the 0-0. They get tied together, shoves that 91 right up into the outside fence. Now watch Caleb Kleiner's in there. Oh, Kleiner goes upside down for the 196. Kleiner's upside down. You see the 318 of Matthew Catania. He's right in it as the 196 sits on top of that 0-0. Ryan, luckily enough, finally comes to 4 tires here down into corner number 4, but then we're going to see a few more drivers get collected in it, and it's Ryan Haller. Haller's in there. Oh no, Haller gets tore up again. You watch the 61 as well of Mickelson. He gets into it here. Let's take a look back and see the contact here between the 88 ride and this number 61 because, I'm not sure. Okay, so you see the 88's just in front. trying to get checked up. They see drivers going around, and unfortunately, as Haller's trying to get checked up here, his own teammate, Wyatt Mickelson, just going to get in a little bit too hot, a little bit too quick, and unfortunately trying to avoid some of the spun-out cars. Haller's also trying to avoid them, and unfortunately they just get tied together and end up washing down into this. 6 cars create a parking lot here on the inside of corner number 4 here this evening. Pretty solid contact and damage for all 6 drivers, and that is really going to set the stage here for late in this race. Is a lot of these cats going to have to come down pit road and make pit stops and hope that they got some quick repairs, hope that they got something that they can use to try to get them back out there. You do see Haller, Caleb Kleiner, Catania, they were able to roll back out. We did see Merrick Watchorn still down pit side, heavy damage there on his on that one, man. That was a bad wreck. That was a bad wreck right there. A lot of tore up race trucks and a lot of our front runners there as well. Majority of those drivers were inside our top 10 or just on the outside of the top 10, but that is really going to mix up this lineup that much more here. And for Clinton Woodby, that gets you a couple laps away from seeing this checkered flag, but now you got another restart to deal with. If you're the race leader, now you really got to try to play a bit of a mind game on this restart to try and set yourself up here down into corner number 1 at least, and hoping to try to keep Stevenson, David Traylor Jr., Colton Hardy, Nick Garner, a lot of these drivers back there at bay. You look at Skylar Berry now into that 6th position. Rusty Modesty sits in 7th. Kevin Winker up and into the 8th position now. So that's a great rebound for Winker. A few of these drivers, they're definitely happy about that wreck, but to finish this one off, I think it's going to get really, really crazy back there deeper in the field. A little bit slower traffic still in front of some of the quicker traffic. When you look at Kleiner, Catania, Cogdell, a lot of these guys are going to be trying to race their way back up into the top 10. It's going to make things very, very interesting because you look at John Herbert, who now rounds out our top 10. Paul Durkee's there in 11th. Rick LePage is now in 12th with Ashley Olsen Jr. into that 13th position. Ryan Haller sits now in 14th. You'll have Caleb Kleiner, Matthew Catania, Justin Lawson, Nathan Somerville, Bruce Bernard, and Nate Cogdell back there in tow. Is our top 20 still on the lead lap? I do believe for Wyatt Mickelson, he will fall a couple laps down now, still down pit side with that damage. Unfortunately, looks like it may be the end of his night. And same with Merrick Watchorn in that 91. Looks like his night has come to a close. For Keith Prince, obviously, he's going to get the wave around. It's not really going to mean anything here to the 3 ride as do yellow laps count? The yellow laps do count. Yellow laps do count, but they do go to NASCAR overtime here. So it will be a green-white checkered finish here this evening. So as they go back to green flag racing, 79 laps into this race, it will no longer be an 80-lap race here. It will now move to at least an 81-lap race. So it is going to be, a 2-lap shootout. They are going to have 3 opportunities at this NASCAR overtime. So that means 3 attempts. If they don't see that white flag fly, then they will do it all over again. But virtually, we'll see that green flag fly here the next time by the start-finish line. If they can make it one clean and green lap all the way back around the racetrack and take that white flag. If the leader takes the white flag, then the next flag will end this race no matter what. Whether it's the caution flag or the checkered flag, the next flag will end this race no matter what if they see that white flag fly. But if the caution flag flies before we see or take that white flag, then we will stack them up, we will rack them up, and we will do it all over again here in this one. So for Clinton Woodby, big restart right here. For Tyler Stevenson, David Traylor Jr., Colton Hardy, and the rest of the field, they're hoping that they can work their way up and into victory lane as the base truck makes that hard left-hand turn back down pit side. We'll head into that Geico restart zone, and here we go. Our first attempt at NASCAR overtime here this evening as the green flag back out into the air, and a great launch there for Clinton Woodby. Woodby able to clear that 51 of Tyler Stevenson, jumps down low, right in front of that 51 machine. Actually gives himself about a truck length gap here down through corner number 2 as you see David Traylor Jr. all over the back bumper of that wheel, and C4 Energy number 51. And for Clinton Woodby, you couldn't have asked for a better restart. Now we see them snaking down the straightaway here. They're trying to break the draft. They're trying to keep these guys a little bit farther back there at bay. And for the 92 rider Clinton Woodby, it gives himself a truck length or two here. Down through 3, nice and easy into corner number 4. He's just hoping that the caution flag doesn't come out, but there it is! The caution flag will fly again, so we will do it all over again. Another attempt at NASCAR overtime is about to come up as drivers getting tore up again deeper in the field, and I feel like we're missing a couple of these drivers, including I think Ryan Holler may have gotten tied up into it. Caleb Kleiner, Nate Congdale looking like he's gotten some more damage again here, so oh man, this is tough. 3 wide here, and it looks like Holler's just on the outside of it, so they're kind of battling here. They're 2-3 wide already down the back straightaway. Holler's in the middle. Caleb Kleiner down low, trying to get everything he can, and sends it deep down low on the inside. Holler stuck there through the middle, and you just watch that 196 of Caleb Kleiner. Threw it in there deep, but unfortunately just too deep here. Too deep in for Caleb Kleiner. Going to watch this truck just shoot up the racetrack here, and unfortunately he's already got the 88, the 20 right there to his outside of Lawson, and here we go. This is where he's going to start to push up, push up, push up. 88 Ryan trying to hold on to the middle here. Hoping for a good corner exit, trying to keep himself there in bay, and unfortunately Caleb Kleiner finally gets up into him. They both wash up the racetrack, and you watch Holler into the fence, the 196 is into the fence, you watch the 17 and the 00, they got nowhere to go. Lawson's right there in the middle of it, pretty solid contact into the outside fence there as well for Lawson, as man, some big hits here late in this race. We knew the caution flags were going to come at some point, and it looks like late in this one, when things are going to get a little bit heated, things are going to get a little bit more aggressive, and unfortunately for a lot of these drivers, they end up with some pretty tore up race trucks, and unfortunately for a lot of these cats, potentially down and out of this race late in it. So going to be difficult, going to be interesting, because we're going to see who's going to be able to try to get rocking and rolling here in this one, as Ace Kev says every week, so over this, his top 10 chance taken from me again. Yeah, that's tough, brother. That's tough, man. Tough break. Tough spot out there. Obviously hard contact, and another tough week for Ryan Holler, man. Holler just always seems to find himself in the wrong place at the wrong time, and one of these guys, unfortunately, taking himself out of this one is, yeah, Holler's just never gets through it easy, man. Never gets through it easy. He says, I'm done here. Brother, that's tough. That's tough. Hey, you know what? Sometimes it works out. Sometimes it doesn't. I mean, it's just, you know, it's tough racing, you know, aggressive racing, very difficult racing. A lot of drivers that are tough into it, as Kev says, when is wheel-to-wheel back? When is wheel-to-wheel back? Wheel-to-wheel's back in like 3 months. February. I think they're doing a dirt series still, but other than the dirt series, their cup series is until like end of February, brother. It's a little ways away. It's a little ways away. We'll get them all stacked up, though. We'll get them racked up, and we'll try this one all over again. And for a lot of these drivers, it starts to bring into that question mark. What's fuel looking like? It's been 20 laps since we saw Clinton Woodby come down pit road. So 20 laps for Woodby since he was down pit side. A few of these other drivers were down pit road on lap number 65. But when you look at Colton Hardy, who was last down pit road on lap 59, now we have had a few caution flag laps. So they've probably been able to save a little bit of fuel. But how tight and how low does that number go before it starts to become a real big issue for a few of those drivers? That could be the next big swing in things here, and that could really create some treacherous ground coming to the next restart, especially with all these caution laps. This is a big racetrack. You know, you can save a bit of fuel, but it's really tough to save this much. They've already ran 82 laps, which is 2 laps farther than they were scheduled. So if they gave themselves maybe that little bit of a buffer for, you know, maybe one restart, one late race, green, white, checkered, if we see another one come up, it may get really, really interesting here. Even now, it may be tough for these guys to be able to hit their marks and be able to not run out of fuel late in this race. I think Colton Hardy would be, whereas Paul Durkee, they're going to be really, really questionable here. Even David Traylor Jr., you can throw his name into the ring on that one. But 3 of our top 4 definitely could be a whole lot tighter on fuel than a lot of these other drivers, man. That's gonna be tough. That is gonna be very, very interesting as we're gonna get ready to set them back loose. We're going to get ready to go back to green flag racing. Clinton Woodby, Tyler Stevenson, 1 and 2 on the racetrack. You do see Woodby again using the outside lane. Now, I think that's a good call here. He knows that Stevenson and David Traylor Jr. may have a little bit better tire than he does. So if he can kind of use that outside lane, get the jump, and get in front of them, then that could really help him out here. And with them getting a little bit worse of a jump, it kind of locks a couple of those other drivers with fresher tires behind the 97 and a little slower on the restart there down to his inside. So taking the outside lane definitely seems like that is going to be the best position here for that 92 on these restarts. Is the Duck Donuts. Caution flag is going to get taken away again. We'll go back to green flag racing here. This will be our second attempt at NASCAR overtime here in this one. Our second attempt at NASCAR overtime. We will have at the maximum 3 attempts. If we do see the caution flag come back out here during this attempt, we will try it once again. If the caution flag comes out during that second or that third and final NASCAR overtime, then it will end the race no matter what. We'll end the race under yellow, but we do not want to see that. We want to see it end right here. We don't want to see it end under caution, and here we go. Great launch, great restart again for that 92 ride of Clinton Woodby. Woodby with another great launch, another great restart, and now you watch the 97 working to the outside. Colton Hardy, last chance dance here for him, and man, he got her to stuff into corner number 1 and 2, and somehow or another just found that extra little bit of a gear, and now 3 wide down the back straightaway. David Traylor Jr. trying to put himself right back into the thick of things as he works himself back around the 51 of Tyler Stevenson. Stevenson a little bit more off the pace here on this restart as Clinton Woodby opening up already 0.8 of a second lead. So that restart really worked out for him, and nice and easy down the front straightaway. He will see the white flag fly. So the white flag is in the air. The next flag will end this race no matter what. And for Clinton Woodby with a 0.7 of a second lead between himself and David Traylor Jr., he is sitting pretty. You watch the 97 ride, still trying to work to the outside here with Tyler Stevenson for position number 3 on the speedway. Stevenson's trying to hang on to it. The 97 of Colton Hardy's trying to take it away. You see that 27 ride, and Nick Gardner's right there into the mix. Here comes Skylar Berry poking his nose in the battle. Oh, Berry and the 27 and Gardner get tied together. Around goes the 27 as Clinton Woodby, though, out in front. Nobody is going to catch him here. It's down and out of corner number 4 here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway for the Johnny Johnson Motorsports 200 here at the Brickyard. It's the 92 of Clinton Woodby who will pick up the win. Woodby gets it done and parks himself up and in to the always amazing Brickyard victory lane here this evening at Indianapolis Motor Speedway here this evening as Clinton Woodby picks up the win. It's David Traylor Jr. who will come home in second, and Tyler Stevenson will finish in third. Colton Hardy, Skylar Berry, our top 5 is Rusty Modesty and Matthew Catania, the top 7. Winker Nation will come home in the 8th position with Nathan Somerville and Rooster Rodden rounding out our top 10. John Herbert, Ash Elson Jr., Paul Durkee, Rick LePage, and Nate Congdale round out the top 15. Bruce Bernard, Nick Gardner, Caleb Kleiner, Ryan Haller, Justin Lawson, our top 20, with Wyatt Mickelson, Merrick Watchorn, Keith Prince, and Jesse Calloway bringing up the rear of the field, but it was all Clinton Woodby late in this race. Oh, baby! Woodby gets it done and pulls himself up and into victory lane. He'll get to drink the milk. He'll get to Kiss the bricks here this evening at the Brickyard as he'll get ready to celebrate here on the front straightaway. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up here to our race winner. That number 92 ride of Clinton Woodby as Woodby gets it done and picks up the win here this evening, man. What a run, what a drive, and what a performance here for this 92 machine as he is going to burn down the house here at the Brickyard, man. What a run, what a race, what a performance here for that 92 ride as he's going to drift it all the way down the front straightaway. Why not give the entire front stretch here a bit of a show as that Goldberg winning bid. 92 picks up the win here in this one, man. What a run, what a show, what a performance here by that 92 machine as we'll get ready to pull Clinton and the rest of our top three up and into the broadcast booth. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, don't go anywhere because you do not want to miss their post-race interviews here, man. Post-race interviews coming up next. These drivers are going to voice their, their maybe displeasure, maybe the craziness that had happened, or just, their excitement about maybe picking up a big win out there on the speedway. We'll wait and see if we can get Woodby up here in a quick hurry. Where is Woodby? I just had him. Where'd he go? Hey, Clinton, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker Broadcasting booth. Did you get a copy? Clinton, man, heck of a run, heck of a race for you here this evening, brother. Take us back through this one. Is obviously a fast truck early on. We saw you battling there. You take the race lead. I do believe you went on to win the first stage of the day. And then kind of hung out there, third, fourth, kind of just rolling with the punches there, trying to figure out, the strategy here late in this race. And I think the strategy was really going to work out for not only yourself, but for that 54 ride of David Traylor Jr. Unfortunately, though, right after you guys make your final green flag pit stops, the caution flag comes out, and then the craziness ensues, but it gives you control of these restarts, gives you the race lead, and from that point on, man, you just hit your marks, making sure you got good restarts. There was Chaos back behind you. You were able to hold David Traylor, Catania, that 51 of Tyler Stevenson back there at bay, and finally this final restart, you're able to just pull away from them and leave no question about it, as they were not able to catch you, even able to sniff your back bumper there on that final lap as you pull yourself up and into the Indianapolis Motor Speedway victory lane. Brother, take us back through this race and what's going through your mind as you get to celebrate here on the front straightaway. Yeah, absolutely. Stay in the lead, and you put yourself up and into the winner's circle here. Just 2 seconds here. We actually see that audio for Discord is not coming through. See if I can change this. Where here? Man, what? Try saying something, Clayton? No. Work. Okay, let me change something else here again. Input should be fine for the microphone. Not coming. Try that. Try say something again.
Got me.
Oh, okay. I think they can hear you, but now I can't hear you. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. What in the world? Audio is just all messed up here.
Just pretend it's a hot mic.
We've had PC issues. We've had to restart the PC and kind of like reset everything with iRacing and Windows and everything else. And I think that's really messed with a lot of our audio here, chat. So that's what we're kind of dealing with right now. Let me see if we can change this up. Clayton, can you say something again?
Got me now?
Yeah, there we go. Okay, we got you now. All right, there we go. They can hear you now. Okay, Clinton, take us back through it there, man. Obviously, tough race, tough battles there. You, the 51, late in this one. You get that restart, and you hold these guys off, pull yourself up here into victory lane, man. That's got to feel pretty dang good because it's early in the season. This is a tough race and an exciting one every time you come to Indianapolis, being such a historic racetrack. You got to be pretty pumped up with being able to get the win here this afternoon.
Oh yeah, especially feels good coming from Sebring, where I figured or felt like I should have at least a podium finish, if not maybe win the race. I knew Catania was faster than me there, but I had to lead and then screwed it up by looking down and looking away. But if I could have got that win, this could be 3 in a row for me. And I never, usually once I win one, it's a while before I win again. So it's nice to bounce back into victory lane pretty quickly in the season.
Yeah, absolutely. Bouncing back, getting right back up here into victory lane in that beautiful winning bid Goldberg ride here this evening. Clinton, who would you like to thank for such a great run and strong performance here this evening?
Yeah, shout out to my girlfriend Megan. She's my #1 supporter, keeps me going and everything. And Blair Peterson, Winning Bid Diecast Auction on Facebook. Go over there and get all your NASCAR memorabilia, merchandise, everything. He's the coolest guy I've never met. I've never met him or even really talked to him in person, and he supports me, so that goes to show you what type of guy he is. And thanks to Colton right there at the end for doing what I needed somebody to do. I didn't care who it was, I just needed somebody to do it, and he happened to be the one tonight. And you for the broadcast and everybody for the league, and everything gets put on.
Absolutely, brother. Well, we'll be back in action again next Monday night, and hopefully we'll see you right back up here in the thick of it, and maybe right back up and into victory lane here early on in this season. Clinton, congrats on the win here at Indy, and we'll get you hopefully back here in the booth next Monday.
Oh, yeah. We'll shoot for that, and second's just the first loser.
Absolutely, brother. Absolutely. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for our race winner, Clinton Woodby, as Woodby picks up the dub and pulls himself up and into victory lane here this evening. As Woodby captures the victory, we'll get ready now to pull in our second place finisher, the 54 rider, David Trailer Jr. Let's get David up here into the booth. Hey, David, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker Broadcasting booth. Did you get a copy?
Hey, Aaron, how's it going?
Not too bad, David, man. Heck of a run, heck of a drive for you here this evening as the 54 truck obviously had quite a bit of speed in it. You qualified here in second. You're able to battle there early on for the race lead and duke it out throughout that first stage. And then all of a sudden it came to different pit strategy here, a little bit of a different gap, and you're able to not only work yourself out in front with that different strategy, not coming back down pit road during that second caution flag, so that puts you and Clinton out in front of the field. You're able to take the race lead back away from them, and then at that point, you kind of start to pull away a little bit. You start to open up a little bit of a gap, and then it starts to come to those green flag pit stops, and it seems like it's just working out into your favor. And honestly, I think it would have worked out in your favor all the way to that checkered flag if we didn't see any of these late race caution flags or any of this late race chaos. As prior to that yellow flag, you came down pit road and you end up, you had about a 5-second gap between yourself and Matthew Catania. I think him and Woodby might have battled there for a second, but I don't think he was even going to have enough time to chase you down, to hunt you down, and try to steal this win away from you here this evening. And obviously, crazy late race restarts. You're trying to get everything you can. You're trying to keep the momentum up, and unfortunately just never really had a chance to go after Clinton here for the win and had to settle in for second.
Yeah, like you said, there I kind of learned how to drive it in the first stage, and after that, knew I wanted to get clean air, and once I got clean air, pretty much drove away. I felt that kind of showed that I had what felt like the fastest truck. Nobody else really pulled away in their clean air. I was able to keep good lap times, and yeah, I knew that it would be a little bit different strategy. There was about a 10 lap window on both stops where you could pit, and I tried to go kind of right in the middle, just to keep the maximum speed in it as long as I could. And yeah, hit the first green flag stop pretty much perfectly. Came out almost identical to where I was with the 92, and then the second one, right as I'm pulling out of the box, the caution falls, and at that point I was already somewhere past the 92, somewhere past the 00, somewhere past the 97, and iRacing, I guess because I was still on pit road, put me behind all of them. And that was kind of the race. I never could get back around the 92. It would have taken probably 5 or 6 laps to work him, and after that caution, we just couldn't get a run. It turned into kind of a mess after that, and it really kind of bummed me out to not get a chance after what felt like I had the fastest car for sure. But coulda, shoulda, woulda. If I was fast enough, I'd have passed him anyway. So, good job to the 92.
Yeah, absolutely. Great driving, great performance there late in the race for Clinton. After winning the stage, he's able to get out there and get that race lead, get that clean air, hit those restarts, and able to use it to his advantage to put himself up into victory lane, but still another solid performance here tonight for yourself. Another great run, another good points day for you. Early on in the season, as much as you want to get those wins, the points always help. Always getting those into your back pocket, knowing that trying to earn any of the bonus points or trying to put yourself into a better position when it comes to the regular season championship to try to set yourself up here late in the season for the playoffs is always a good thing. And here tonight, man, another great run, a great performance for you. You come home in second. David, who would you like to thank for another great run out there on the racetrack?
Yeah, first off, thanks to the main sponsors on the truck, Johnny Johnson Motorsports, QH Design, and then the rest of the sponsors that make this league possible. Blair at the Winning Bit Diecast, Duck Donuts, Admin Box, CCRE Sports. Everybody has a hand in helping what we do out here. Big thanks to you for putting the broadcast on. I love going back and watching these and seeing it from your point of view, seeing how live and seeing how exciting you keep it. So we really appreciate what you do. Big thanks to the rest of the admin team that helped me, or we all kind of put this on together. Nathan Cogdell, Colton Hardy, and Skylar Berry. I think most of them had a pretty decent race tonight. We had good speed overall as a team. I don't know if we all got the best finish, but we had good speed. And then congrats to the other two guys on the podium. Like I said, Clinton, he did what he had to do. He got track position. He put himself where he needed to be. He would have been tough to beat even if we didn't have those cautions. So congrats to him. And then good job to the 51. I know he kind of started back there towards the middle of the pack a little bit. So congrats to him. And then thanks to my dad watching at home and my wife for letting me do this.
Absolutely, brother. Well, David, heck of a run, heck of a drive here this evening. I know it's a bit of a gutter coming home as the bridesmaid here this evening, the first loser behind that 92 ride, but another good run, another solid performance, and maybe another trip for you back up here into victory lane next Monday night as we'll see you guys back in action, and hopefully we'll see you right back up here in the booth.
Yeah, thanks, Aaron.
Absolutely. Enjoy the rest of your night.
You too.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for our second place finisher, David Traylor Jr. As we get ready now, we're going to pull in our third place finisher, Tyler Stevenson. Hey, Tyler, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker Broadcasting booth to get a copy.
Yes, sir.
Tyler, man, solid run. Great drive for you here this evening. Obviously giving yourself a chance there with some of those late race restarts. The battle for the race win, to battle here inside the top three. Unfortunately, that final restart kind of got you. You just kind of had to battle door to door there with Colton Hardy out of 1 and 2, and it opened up the door for David Traylor Jr. to kind of get around both of you. And unfortunately, you had to get settled back in here for a third place run. But at the end of the day, man, another solid performance, another solid race here. No, major incidents or contact or anything else, and a solid top 3 run, earning some pretty good points here on the day. You got to be fairly happy. Obviously, you want to win the race, but fairly happy with how the day played out for yourself.
Yeah, kind of wish I didn't have those green white checkers at the end. I feel like I had a chance on the last run, but got a little lucky there with the second to last caution that we stayed out, because obviously we had that extra fuel to stay out longer, and that threw us up into the top 5 and best on tires, and just the restart worked out well. I get up to third, and then I get by trailer for second. Thought I had a chance there. And I was like, dang it, the caution came out. I didn't want that caution to come out because I had a pretty good gap to trailer, and I was working on the 92.
Yeah.
It's just the restarts were tough. Oh, the restarts were tough. Couldn't quite get the timing right. I was just kind of guessing the opposite of what he ended up doing, and good for the 92. But, solid points day. We take those. It's better than wrecking out. A lot of my teammates got wrecked, so, I was able to survive. So we'll bag some points, and we'll head on to Nashville next week.
Yeah, absolutely. Take the points when you can get them, and obviously just surviving some of that chaos late in the race. But as you said, yeah, late race restarts definitely kind of took the wind out of your sails there. Obviously, you had that good run. You got up into second. You had a couple looks there at the 92. Just couldn't quite get that run that you needed, but you were sizing them up. You were getting ready and hoping to try to make a move here to try to steal this win away from Clinton Woodby. Unfortunately, just never got that opportunity with those late race caution flags, but a solid third place run nonetheless here tonight for you, Tyler. Who'd you like to thank for another great run and another solid performance out there on the racetrack?
Yeah, obviously Matt, Caleb, Matthew, Nick, Ashley, all of them at CCR. Probably didn't get the best team result today, but at least one of us got on the podium, so we'll take that. But anyone who was watching, who's rooting for me, thanks for my friends and all of them, my teammates. So thanks to you for good broadcasting. So I'll give you a little shout out there.
Perfect, Diddy. I appreciate that, brother. Well, Tyler, heck of a run, heck of a drive here tonight, man. Congrats on the third place finish, and we can't wait to see you back in action again next Monday, and hope to see you back up here in the broadcast booth, maybe a couple spots better, and up in victory lane there at Nashville.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Absolutely. Enjoy the rest of your night.
You too.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for our third place finisher, Tyler Stevenson. As unfortunately, that is going to do it for us here tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, if you haven't already, make sure you guys do us a favor. Hit the like button on the stream right now for us, and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Become part of the Peacemaker family here today. Hit that sub button, become part of the Peacemaker family over here on YouTube, and obviously every like, comment, share helps push the stream out to more and more people, and helps bring in amazing fans in the stands to watch these drivers duke it out every single night here on Peacemaker Gaming. Unfortunately, that will do it for us here in this one, as the Johnny Johnson Motorsports 200 at the Brickyard here in the Metalheads Truck Series is going to come to a close here this evening. We'll be back in action. We'll be back up here in the booth tomorrow night with the HCK Beagles Truck Series. You'll see a lot of the same drivers here tonight, back in battle tomorrow afternoon as well. So make sure you guys have those bell notifications turned on. That way you guys never miss the great racing action here on Peacemaker Gaming. And hopefully we'll see you guys all back in here in the grandstands to cheer these drivers on and to enjoy some amazing racing again tomorrow night. But thank you all for watching. Thank you all for tuning in. And we'll catch you all in the next one, man. Peace and love, ladies and gentlemen. Peace and love.